O star of truth, down shining through clouds of doubt and fear, I ask beneath thy guidance my pathway may appear. However long the journey, however hard it be, though I be lone and weary, lead on, I follow thee. I know thy blessed radiance can never lead astray, though ancient creed and custom may point another way, or through the untrod desert, or over trackless sea. Though I be lone and weary, lead on, I follow thee.
Welcome to this special winter celebration service for Neshoba Church. I am Kendra Reynolds, and I am a religious educator for Neshoba Church. These next few days of winter solstice is a time in which those who are very attracted to the sky have noticed that the sun, in its relentless journey southward on the horizon since last June, has seemed to have paused before beginning its climb back northward to center. Solstice is a time to pause, so please breathe deeply, relax, rest, and be at peace, and enjoy our special holiday worship service, Searching for the Light.
Our opening prayer this morning comes to us from the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, entitled Winter Solstice. In the shadowed quiet of winter's light, earth speaks softly of her longing, because the wild places are in tears. Come, she cries to us, kneel down here on the frosty grass, and feel the prayer buried in the ground. Bend your ear to my heart and listen hard. Love this world, she whispers. Distill peace from the snow and water the cities with mercy. Weave wonder from the forest and clothe grief with beauty. Rest in the rhythm of the turning year. Trace the bending arc, rounding the curve towards justice, and vow anew to do no harm. The winter trees stand watch, haloed in the last gleaming of the slanting sun. Glory sings here, heavens echo the call, repeat the sounding joy. Make your life an answer. Bow, praise, rise. May it be so. We kindle the flame of this chalice with the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the fire of commitment. And please join me with reciting our affirmation of covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. In cultures all over the world, stories are used to teach and entertain us, to help us find ways to understand more and more deeply, and to guide us in discovering personal meaning. Today, we will be telling two stories, one lighthearted with an important message, and another an old story that illustrates a search for meaning. Both have to do with the longest, darkest night of the year, the winter solstice, and waiting for the sun's return. Generations ago, people had to have faith that daylight and warmth would come back to the earth. Today, we know it will. Our stories ask us to consider where our own light can be found. And so, we welcome you into our stories.
A Coyote Solstice Tale by Thomas King. Pictures by Gary Clement. Read with permission from Groundwood Books and Anansi Press. The world was a wintry wonder, the snow piled in mounds on the ground. While Coyote was anxiously waiting for all his friends to come round. "There's nothing like a feast," said Coyote. Then out in the heart of the forest, where the trees blocked the light of the moon, came the cadence of somebody prancing and humming a holiday tune. "It's Beaver and Bear!" cried Coyote, and he rushed to the door, arms outspread. But there on the porch in the moonlight was a little girl, all dressed in red. "Hello," said the girl. "I'm a reindeer." And she pawed at the snow with her toes. She had sticks in her hair, and a green teddy bear, and a red rubber ball on her nose. "Good grief!" cried Coyote, quite shaken, for he knew, as everyone knows, that people and creatures stopped talking a couple of eons ago. Said Coyote. "This could get awkward." But there's ever the matter of manners, and tradition, it's always been said, insists that all guests be made welcome, insists that all guests be well fed. "You've arrived just in time," chirped Coyote, "for our feast is about to begin." "You're not at all late. Let me get you a plate. Are you sure it's the right house you're in?" "I've come to the woods," yawned the reindeer, "to find friendship and goodwill and peace." And she curled up in front of the fire, and she wrapped herself up in a fleece. Then, out on the star-brightened meadow, the ice crystals tickling their feet, came Beaver and Bear and Otter and Moose, their bags filled with groceries and treats. "Get in here," said Coyote. "You have to see this." "She's probably lost," offered Beaver. "It happens this time of year. Let's follow her footprints back through the snow to see how she got way out here." So the animals put on their woolies, and Moose set the girl on his back, and they tromped through the dark, frosty evening till they came to the end of her track. "Hey," said Coyote, "what happened to all the trees?" And there, on the edge of the clear cut, set alone against the western skies, was an object so bright that it lit up the night and made everyone cover their eyes. All the animals stood round squinting at the sight, full of wonder and fear. "It has to be new," stuttered Otter, "for it wasn't here last time this year." The girl straightened her antlers, and she jumped down into the snow. "Oh, that's just the mall," she said, fixing her nose. "It's no place you want to go." A mall? Said the animals. What's a mall? So down the steep slope they toboggan, sliding right through the packed parking lot, then in through the doors onto faux marble floors, where the lights were dynamic and hot. The noise was completely unnerving, the music a pain to the ear. All the people were bumping and pushing, attempting to find a cashier. The animals huddled together as rough herds of humans rushed by, their arms filled with brightly wrapped boxes and murderous looks in their eye. So this is what humans do, said Coyote. And before anybody could stop him, Coyote was out on the floor, loading every new thing in his basket as he scampered and skipped through the store. Here's a plasma TV for Otter and a digital wristwatch for Bear, for volumes of Proust for my good friend the moose, and for Beaver, a vibrating chair. So up to the checkout he swaggered. Who knew shopping could be such a thrill? Then the saleswoman tallied his presents and cheerfully passed him the bill. You've made some exceptional choices, she said, and excess is truly the key. Will you purchase these items with credit or cash or buy them on time? Interest-free. Purchase, said Coyote. The stars overhead were resplendent when Coyote slouched out of the mall. I'm sorry you all had to see that, said the girl with the red rubber ball. That's why I pretend I'm a reindeer and put these 2 sticks in my hair. I'd much rather live in a generous world where everyone knows how to share. But my parents are probably worried, so I ought to return straight away. But perhaps I could visit next season and stay for a couple of days. Sure, said Coyote. Reindeers are always welcome at my place. The world was a wintry wonder, with rumors of light in the east, as the animals strolled to Coyote's to continue their seasonal feast. All this walking has made me quite hungry. All that shopping has left me quite numb. I may have to rest, said Coyote, and wait for refreshments to come. So Otter and Moose made corn chowder, and Beaver and Bear baked the bread, while Coyote lay there in his comfortable chair with a pillow tucked under his head. And after the eating and drinking, after all the stories were told, after most of the mess had been tidied, everyone went out in the cold to sing as the light filled the heavens, to welcome a splendid new day, and to offer a prayer for clean water and air. Then they parted and went on their way. And Coyote, well, he sat on the porch in his rocker, and he rocked as he tried to recall if goodwill and peace could be purchased for cash or card at the mall. Probably, thought Coyote as he smiled and closed his eyes. That place had everything.
Good morning. Periodically in my daily gratitude journal, I write that I am grateful for my modest home and the peace, security, and comfort therein. I am aware when I do so of how many people are homeless in our community and throughout the world, as well as those whose homes are inadequate to their or their families' needs, or are at risk due to financial struggles. I am aware that I am less isolated in this time of pandemic because I have electricity to access my computer, my phone, my television, and more, allowing me to reach out to others or to bring voices into my house when it gets too quiet. I am aware that my refrigerator and pantry are full and can be refilled, and that I have the resources to get by. It is hard for me to imagine the anxiety alive in those whose resources are inadequate or are at risk due to financial insecurity, job loss, medical costs, and more. It is hard to imagine the fear and anxiety with which so many people live. We here at Neshoba do what we can to help the broader community through Reedy, Room in the Inn, Micah, and other efforts, but we also do what we can to help our own. Every year at the Christmas Eve service, we take up a special offering to benefit Neshobans through the pastor's discretionary fund, a fund set up to assist our members with financial emergencies. If someone has an unexpected expense that prevents them from paying their utility bill, for instance, they can come to me and get assistance. It is confidential, with only them, myself, and our treasurer knowing, and it can be useful in the short term to ease the anxiety arising out of financial setbacks. Since we are sadly unable to have a Christmas Eve service this year, we are asking that you donate to this fund this morning during our morning offering. It is an important fund, the pastor's discretionary fund, that assists with the health and well-being of our church family. Please donate now as you are able, and know how very much it matters to all of us and how grateful we are.
In a place neither near nor far, in a time neither now nor then, there lived a girl named Lucy. Now, this was no ordinary Lucy. She was thoughtful and very independent. She spelled her name with 2 U's. Lucy lived in a small cottage at the edge of the great forest near the mountains, with her grandmother and her cat. They lived simple but happy lives, even when the temperamental weather from the far north piled snow outside their door. Not even the harsh winds could keep their spirits down, as they snuggled up together by the bright, crackling fire that warmed their cold hands and noses. One winter, the wind howled down the mountain, fiercer than it had ever had. Before the wind was so loud sometimes Lucy could not hear her grandmother humming to herself as she worked on knitting. Frost covered the nail heads on the cottage walls, and the wind crept in through cracks and whipped the last bit of flour out of the barrel, so that it seemed that it would be snowing inside as well as out. Then one day, the sun did not rise over the mountaintop, nor the next, nor the next, nor the next. Not even a glimmer of sun shone. The darkness had settled over the land.
Grandmother, where has the light gone?
My dear Lucy, I don't know. Even the oldest tales never told of this darkness. We will be each other's light until the sun returns.
As the dark days wore on, the cat began to fret and fuss, as cats often do. The fire smoked and shivered, refusing to warm the corners of the house or break bread. At last, Lucy could not bear the darkness any longer.
I will go look for the sun. Perhaps it has lost its way.
It's too cold and dark. There'll be animals in the forest, and some may be dangerous.
Don't worry, Grandmother. I will find the sun and be back in time for breakfast.
I cannot let you go, Lucy. We will live without the sun if we must.
Lucy was a spirited, independent girl, and when she made up her mind to do something, anything, to find the sun and bring it back home. She waited until, at last, her grandmother fell into a fitful sleep in her rocker by the fire. Lucy prepared herself quickly. She put on her warmest boots, hat, and mittens, buttoned her coat, and wrapped her scarf. Lucy slipped a crust of bread into one pocket, along with an apple and a carrot from the root cellar. Then she put a small tinderbox into the other pocket. Who knows when she might need a fire to keep her warm? Lucy crept close to her sleeping grandmother and wistfully gazing at her time-worn face. She stroked the soft fur on the cat, who had curled into a tight ball at her grandmother's feet. Lucy stepped towards the cottage door. Lucy opened the door and stepped out, with the cat jumping out behind her. Lucy was glad for the company of her cat as they walked side by side to keep each other just a bit warm. Lucy set off into the forest towards the mountain, where the sun used to rise. The pale light of the stars showed the way.
My fingers and toes feel like ice. It seems as though days have passed since we left Grandmother at the cottage. This endless darkness makes it hard to sense the passing of time, and it's beginning to be scary.
Despite feeling frightened, Lucy was determined to continue her search as long as her legs were strong and would carry her. Suddenly, Lucy heard a rustling sound in the bush. very close by. The cat hissed and arched their back.
Oh dear, it might be one of the forest animals grandmother warned me about.
The rustling in the bush was closer by now, and the cat hissed.
Yes, Kitty, I'm feeling a little scared too.
Suddenly, a masked face poked out of the bush. It was a large raccoon who ambled toward Lucy and the cat.
Kitty, this is the strangest cat I've ever seen.
I am most certainly not a cat. I am a raccoon. Well, now, this is a curious thing. What is it that brings you out into the cold and dark? I wonder.
I'm searching for the light, so I might bring it back to my grandmother.
Curious and want to know more. I see that your cat is curious too. A very good thing indeed. Curiously, when we search, we sometimes find truth.
Raccoon, do you have any idea where I might find the light?
Yes, the light. I had noticed that the sun went down and did not return. Perhaps, if you were to consider where you usually see the sun first step into the sky, you might be able to know what direction to follow.
That's very good thinking, very resourceful.
Do you mind if I come along? I'd like to search with you.
Yes, let's search together.
It was hard to say how long they had traveled, since the time seemed to stand still when there was nothing but darkness. They came to a glade in the forest, and there, standing in the starlight, was a lovely deer. She gracefully turned her head, unafraid of Lucy, the cat, and the raccoon.
What is it that brings you out into the cold and dark?
I'm searching for the light, so I might bring it back to my grandmother.
Knowing your purpose is a good thing, and how nice that you wish to bring the light to your grandmother. How very caring of you.
Do you have any idea where I might find the light?
Yes, the light. I'm not sure I know the answer just yet, but I'm certain that your sense of purpose and your kindness will lead you in the right direction. Do you mind if I come along? I'd like to search with you.
Yes, please do join our search.
Lucy traveled with her cat, the raccoon, and the deer onward and ever so slightly up and through the forest. After a while, they stopped to rest. Lucy reached into her pocket and pulled out the crust of bread to share with her companions. Once again, there was a rustling sound from nearby. The travelers looked curiously in the direction that the sound came from, wondering what might be about to emerge from the bush. Out came a porcupine. Very slowly, they gazed at the band of searchers.
What is it that brings you out into the cold and dark?
I'm searching for the light, so I might bring it back to my grandmother. Do you have any idea where I might find it?
Not certain where you will find the light, but I do have an idea of how. Follow your sense of wonder, create your own path, and keep asking questions. Continue your journey with care and notice what is around you. I'm certain you will find the light that way.
Would you like to join us in our search for the light?
I will follow along, but the path I need may be different from yours. Still, it will be good to be with you as I search in my own way.
We are happy to have you with us, even though your path may be different from ours.
Spirit of winter rest, help us to enjoy your peace in this quiet place. Remind us to pause during the season. Grant us awareness. Keep our gratitude fresh each day. May the songs in our heart be blessings and insights to us and to others, and may compassion always shine forth from the depths of our hearts. We invite you to join us in a moment of rest for this musical meditation. And now our story continues.
Once again, the band of travelers, with the porcupine trailing a bit of a distance, traveled onward and ever so slightly up through the forest. The snow was so cold it squeaked breaths beneath Lucy's boots, and her breath froze on her scarf, forming tiny icicles. The trail through the forest grew steeper, and the trees were so dense that not even the starlight could guide her. All at once, with no warning and no sound to announce his presence, a large gray wolf crossed Lucy's path.
Awesome.
Oh, how soft the snow feels. It's almost as soft as my feather bed at the cottage. I feel so tired.
Lucy closed her eyes. If she were home, warm and in her own soft bed, she would sleep and dream. Perhaps it was how tired she was, or perhaps it was from the cold. But Lucy thought she could hear her mother singing to her, as she did so long ago.
We invite you to join us in a moment of rest for this musical meditation. And now our story continues.
Oh, that hurts. Oh my, I forgot about all you. Please don't eat me.
There you are, Wolf. I've been searching for you everywhere.
Wait, the wolf is your companion? How can that be? Aren't they dangerous?
At first, I was a little hesitant too, but I came to understand that things are often not always how they seem at first. Wolf is a great teacher. They guide me and help me find my way. My name is Danica. It means morning star.
I could sure use a morning star right about now. My name is Lucy. It means light. Our names are kind of connected, aren't they?
Yes, it seems so. What brings you out into the wilderness, Lucy?
I'm searching for the light so I might bring it back to my grandmother. But if I've been searching for so long now that I'm beginning to wonder if I'll ever find it.
Searching for answers to the awe and mystery of life can take one down many paths. Sometimes we have to keep on searching, even when we feel lost. I'm searching too. It would feel better to search together, wouldn't it? Do you remember what I told you about Wolf? How they helped me find my way? They can help you too.
It is an honor to guide your way.
And so, Wolf led Lucy, Danica, and the animals up the mountain. Their journey became much harder. Just as Lucy was almost ready to give up, she heard the sound of great wings overhead.
Ah, Pathfinder, your way has been weary. It is good to see you again, my sibling, and you have brought friends. Greetings to you all.
Wise one, I too am pleased to see you. My friends and I have traveled far.
You seek something, do you not? One amongst you looks for the light. Come forward.
I search for the light. I must bring it and back to my grandmother. Along the way, I have found others who now search with me.
The forests and villages are in darkness, wise one. Can you help us find the light?
Do not gaze up into the skies for the light that you seek. The sun will always return, and with it comes the rebirth of spring. The winter is long and dreary, but the sun alone is not enough to last you through these winter months. There is another kind of light that must shine all through your lives. Wolf and all the other animals have a spark of that light. Your light for the sun, but you search for the sun, but the spark of your spirits is not a light that travels the sky. Your search is dependent on you now, and your hearts, minds, and spirits will continue to thirst for truth and meaning. I hope that you will find your way. Be well.
The owl said that the sun will always return. If the sun is not what I seek, then what is? The owl told me that there is another kind of light that will shine through all our lives. That the spark of our spirits is not a light that travels the sky. She said that the spark was within wolf and all animals. If the light is within them, it must be within us all. And perhaps with our individual sparks, we may kindle one flame when we join together and when we search together. I'm the light. No, we are the light. This journey has led me exactly where I need to be in this moment. I could not find it on my own, but now the path is mine to choose. My path may not be the same as my friends, but I do know that they are near, following their own paths that intertwine with mine.
Just as the owl had said it would, the sun climbed from behind the mountains, as it always had. Like a great wheel rolled into the sky, darkness gave way to a rosy dawn. The mountaintops glowed. Back down the mountain Lucy went, and her friends. Icicles glistened, dripped, and fell. Sparrows woke up and hopped into the tree branches, down and down the mountain and through the forest. Lucy led the way, following her own tracks, all the way back to the cottage, where a welcoming plume of smoke curled from the chimney. Sunlight followed Lucy and the cat through the front door, pouring across the floor, as warm and sweet as honey. A fire blazed on the hearth.
Lucy, I feared I had lost you.
Oh, grandmother, how happy I am to see you. I've brought some new friends that I met during my journey home with me.
Oh, wonderful. Come in and warm yourselves. I've fresh bread and cheese to share while you tell me all about your search together and what you found along the way.
The little college was a merry place indeed that day. They had found the light.
Look at the light, feel the light that is the hope, faith, and love that is here with us. The light that represents our search for truth and meaning. The light that ties us together in community. As light shines from the sun, so may it shine from within us, lighting the world and spreading the light of hope to all who are in need. Like Lucy and her friends, may you embrace a lifelong search for what is meaningful for you, and may you live into that meaning each and every day. May it be so.
From all of us at Neshoba and everyone who participated in this special holiday service, we share this flame of the chalice with you, that it may glow gently in your hearts. May it light your path always. May it guide your way until we are together again. Blessings upon you all. Merry Christmas. Happy Solstice. And blessed be.
clear that glorious song of old. From angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth to all goodwill, from heaven the news we bring. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Still through the cloven skies they come, with peaceful wings unfurled, and still their heavenly music floats o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lowly plains they bend on hovering wing, and ever o'er its babel sounds the blessed angels sing. But with the woes of war and strife the world has suffered long. Beneath the angel strain have rolled 2,000 years of wrong. And we who fight the wars hear not the love song which they bring. Oh, hush the noise of battle strife, and hear the angels sing. For lo, the days are hastening on, by prophet bards foretold, when with the ever-circling years comes round the age of gold, when peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling, and the whole world give back the song which now the angels sing.